This is an exclusive interview with Miami-Dade County Commissioner of District 13, Mr.Rene Garcia. Esta es una entrevista exclusiva con el comisionado del Distrito 13 de Miami-Dade, el señor Rene Garcia. This is Alexander News Show. Watch this. Este es el show de Alexander News Show. Mira esto. Tú vas a correr para la calle de la ciudad de Hialeah. Are you going to run for the mayor of Hialeah? I asked him if he's running for mayor of Hialeah. The Live Local Act, if I said it correctly, what is your opinion about that? I asked him about the Live Local Act, which was passed by the Florida State Legislature. His answer might surprise you. Hi everyone, this is Alexander Carlos with the Alexander News Show with Iheart Podcast Network. We are on all social media platforms and even on podcast platforms, mainly Iheart Podcast and Spotify. And to my left, on my side and on the screen, I believe it's to the right, is former Senator, and in his title Senator, and District 13 Commissioner, Miami-Dade, Mr. Rene Garcia. How you doing, sir?
Hey,
welcome
brother.
to the Alexander News Show.
Welcome to the office. It's always good to be with you.
No, thank you. I'm so happy to be back in my old city of Hialeah. Even though I don't live here anymore, and I live more down south, Hialeah is where my memories are.
We welcome you back.
Thank you,
Whenever
sir.
you're ready to come back, we're ready to have you back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So my first question to you is about, you went back to Hialeah High School
Yes.
a few weeks ago, and you got honored. What was it that you ended up getting, and how was that experience like?
Well, it was earlier this year. I went back. They surprised me with a tribute at Hialeah High because I was inducted into the School Board Hall of Fame earlier this year, sometime last year. And Hialeah High took it a step further. My office got together and they surprised me with this great tribute. It was nice to go back and even though I've never left Hialeah High, I think it's important for us to always give back to our community and go back to our roots where it all started for us. But it was nice to see the mayor, my friends, elected officials, and my dear close personal friends that showed up to support this honoring, I guess, of the history that I have at Hialeah High. There was pictures from when I was back in school, and the football team came out, gave me
I remember
ball.
when you were one of the political figures in high school. You were
Student
where were you, a president or vice president?
Vice president. I was student government president. Yes, sir. I'm very proud of it too. That's where it started. That's where it all started for me.
You have it in your blood to be in political office and serve the community. Because I remember you when you were in student government.
Yes.
Did you step? By the way, you didn't step on the seal, did you? You remember you got a
Never. We never stepped on
No.
the
Now
seal.
when you went back,
Loco, you're crazy.
Okay.
No. Times have changed. I remember before it was a big deal to step on the seal, and that unfortunately that tradition has gone away a little bit. But I think it's important to show respect to the institution and respect to the school and respect for the heritage that we have at Hialeah High, which is a proud, long history of excellence at our school, and Hialeah High is a hidden gem in the school system because it is in Hialeah, in the center of Hialeah, but it's a school that really a lot of good kids come from it, and you see how many more kids this year. Every year we have more and more kids going to Ivy League schools, so it's really impressive the product that comes out of Hialeah High.
Well, congratulations on the recognition you got, and going back to Hialeah High School. Este es Alexander Carlos, el show de Alexander News Show, y yo estoy entrevistando el senador comisionado Commissioner de Miami-Dade County, District 13, Mr. Rene Garcia. Puedes encontrar a Alexander News Show en todas las plataformas, las redes sociales y en el podcast de Alexander News Show. So, senador, comisionado, mi español no es tan bueno, pero te voy a preguntar esta pregunta, te voy a poner en the hot seat. ¿Tú vas a correr para la calle de la ciudad de Hialeah? Are you going to run for the mayor of Hialeah?
Yeah, lo estoy considerando fuertemente. De verdad que lo estoy considerando. I'm really considering it strongly. There is a couple of issues that I'm trying to work through with my family and my business and so forth. So, but more importantly, my family and some health issues that we're starting to face right now. So, the decision will be made relatively soon. For me, the biggest part for me, el problema más grande para mí es que yo no pienso en quítate tú para ponerme yo. Yo honestamente estoy pensando a ver a dónde yo puedo servir a esta comunidad mejor, qué plataforma tengo para seguir ayudando a la gente de Hialeah. Siempre lo he hecho toda mi vida. My whole political life has been about helping the people of Hialeah, putting Hialeah at the forefront. And my decision right now is going to be completely based on where is that I can help the people of Hialeah. I don't have to have a title. I don't have to be mayor. I don't have to be a commissioner. I just have to be able to be and give back to the community that has given me so much. Look, at the end of the day, te digo, estoy muy agradecido a este pueblo, todo lo que yo soy, todo lo que yo he podido lograr profesionalmente, políticamente, personalmente, ha sido porque los residentes de esta ciudad me han dado la confianza esa y no creo que le he perdido, siempre lo he respetado y por eso estoy tomando mi tiempo para ver a dónde yo puedo mejor servir a esta comunidad y seguir sirviendo a esta comunidad. And this is why I thank the city of Hialeah, because everything that I've been able to gain politically, professionally, and personally has been because of the hardworking people of Hialeah. This is why I'm taking this decision very seriously, and I'm going to make sure that I will be where I can best fit and best serve the community that I so dearly care about.
Well, I'm going to take it a step further. Would you consider running for Miami-Dade County Mayor? Well, that's big now.
No, listen,
that's a big one.
Would I consider running for Dade County Mayor? I'll tell you this though. If I run for mayor of Hialeah, I won't run for mayor of Dade County because I will not leave a position halfway through my post. So those two are considerations.
You can only do one.
Right. I'm going to do one, and I don't believe a lot of politicians, they leave one to run for another one. I think if you make a commitment to run and the people elect you for a certain position, then you should honor the people's wishes for that duration of that term.
So one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, and this is going to be right off the chain. It's my idea. It's more my idea. It hasn't been even spoken about in Dade County circles, Miami-Dade circles, or Hialeah circles. Would you consider, you being a commissioner, would you ever consider legislation to give Amelia Earhart Park? You see, I asked one of your assistants this. Would you ever give Amelia Earhart Park, or at least give 50% of it, to the city of Hialeah? What do you think about that crazy idea?
It's a crazy idea. It's not that crazy. People have been talking about this idea for a long time.
Oh,
so,
okay. So I'm not the first one.
No. And the city of Hialeah, since the park is in the city of Hialeah, it's always been talked about. But first of all, there was a resolution ordinance that was passed at the county that prevents us from giving up our park spaces. And even giving it up to another city, I think is important, especially the city of park of Amelia Earhart Park. Something that people don't know, it's the largest regional park in Miami-Dade County. We have about 500 and something acres of Amelia Earhart Park compared to Tropical Park, which I love talking about Tropical Park, and I love this rivalry that we have around parks, right? Because that means that people are using our parks, but Tropical Park's about 200 acres.
I know why you don't want to give it up. Because you hike that park. That's why. You hike that park.
Listen, that park is in my heart, and right now we have something that the county can do that the city can't, is we have a lot more resources. So we are now investing, in the last budget cycle, we invested, was able to appropriate $25 million for the park. Wow. Something that now will put a huge burden on the city of Hialeah. We're going to redo the trails. We're going to do the bike trails and the mountain biking trail as well. We're going to do them correctly. I know that I've got a lot of pushback from my mountain bike friends. We want to make sure we do it right and to the standards and codes of the mountain biking community. We want to plant more trees. We're going to plant flowering trees so we can have a sense of like what happens in Washington, D.C. with the cherry blossoms. So we're going to have something really spectacular. The farm is going to be redone, the penguin farm, the zoo, and we're going to put in gardens so kids can learn how to know where their fruits and vegetables come from.
Muchas gracias.
Sí, estamos muy contentos de la inversión que vamos a hacer y también tenemos un parque acuático que viene, que vamos a romper, que va a empezar ahora en las próximas semanas, si Dios quiere. It's an aquatic park that we're doing there with an Olympic-sized pool and everything. So it's going to be a big deal, right?
You propose all this legislation? And
yeah, look, I can't take credit for the pool itself. That started under Steve Bogle, but we're finishing it now with our watch. So we're really excited about everything that's happening at Amelia Earhart Park, as you can see.
Is it incorporated in the city of Hialeah, or is it incorporated or unincorporated in Miami-Dade?
It's unincorporated Miami-Dade, really.
Okay,
that's the limits of the city of Hialeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So one of my questions is very. Let's get into the nitty gritty here. Really hard stuff here. What is your opinion of the condo crisis affecting Florida condo owners? Florida condo owners, especially in Miami-Dade, for condo buildings that are over 40 years old. Condo owners are facing financial hardships because they are being levied special assessment fees to comply with the new condo laws passed by the state.
Well, look, I've been dealing with condo law for many years.
You got a lot of them here in your district.
Yes, I've been dealing with that for a long time. Myself and Pepe Diaz, back then the Representative Pepe Diaz, we passed the most modern condo laws that we passed in 20, 30 years. We passed them when I was there, but unfortunately when we left, they went back on some of those laws, and a lot of those laws have to do with transparency, giving more rights to DVPR so they can go after criminal elements and the boards and so forth. But now, to your question about the actual condo laws that were passed now in Tallahassee, I think they're
due to the Surfside building collapse.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this is what happens when you have elected officials that react to disasters. You have legislation that's well intended, but has negative consequences. And this is what we're seeing with the condo laws that we were passed a couple of years ago. When I saw when I was there in Surfside, and I saw when the rubble of the building, I was standing on the building to the south of it, and I was looking down. I said, you know what? I need to present legislation at the county for this, because I knew what was going to happen. They were going to overreact, and that's exactly what Tallahassee did. They overreacted because now they have all these maintenance requirements that have to be added to people's bills, and a lot of our older buildings are finding it difficult, and a lot of our older population is finding it difficult to meet that assessment of $30,000-$40,000 from one hit. So I think we have to give a little bit more flexibility to those. I don't want to put safety in above finances, but we have to find that balance, and that balance is giving people the opportunity to make sure that their buildings are safe without breaking the bank on their backs, especially with our retiree and our older population, the people who bought these condos thinking this is a forever home, and now they're realizing that they can't afford it because of regulations that were passed and imposed by Tallahassee.
So I wanted to ask you about Miami-Dade. What do you have to say about, with ordinary Miami-Dade residents that say there's too much overdevelopment in Miami-Dade and not enough green spaces? What is your opinion of that?
You know, what happens is that we grew up in Miami, that people we knew how special Miami was. And Northwest State and Dade County. We knew about that because this is where we grew up. It was a very special place to be. And a lot of people didn't understand. Oh, maybe people in Miami didn't even get us. But now the secret's out. A lot of people have been coming down here, especially now during COVID, that we've seen a huge surge of people moving down to Miami. And it's because not only because of the weather, but because we are a multicultural city that generally gets along with one another. We don't have the big racial issues that we have in other communities. I think we've grown past that. We understand to accept one another. We don't have to like one another, but we respect each other's where we come from. So that makes Miami so unique. And then obviously the weather and the people and the beaches and so forth. So you see a lot more people coming down. Now, I'll tell you, in order to have growth, in order to continue for community to grow, you have to have, and it has to continue progress, right? And progress comes through more buildings and so forth and developments. That's the way you continue the government to grow and to have more finances for the government. But I'll tell you, you have to balance that out with protection of the environment. And I'll tell you, one of the things I've seen far too often that happens is that we allow for these buildings to go up. We allow for developments into the outside of the UDB areas and so forth without having the proper infrastructure. And infrastructure is not just roads. Infrastructure is also underground, water and sewer. So before we continue to grow, I think the community has to take a pause and say, how do we continue? What is the future growth of this community going to look like? How will we continue to grow? And how do we balance out the growth with making sure we protect our green spaces, and more importantly for me, protecting our farmlands. Because people forget that there is a boatload of farmlands that we have in South Dade, and with overdevelopment, it's going to keep on eating away at our farmlands. And if one thing we learned from China, from COVID, is that when China controls the supply chains, they control it all. And our food, we should protect our food supply, so at least we could be able to protect and feed our own people down here.
And China owns a lot of farmland in the United States,
Oh, yes,
just
they
so
do.
you know.
People don't realize how much farmlands they have started to buy up, and it's very scary. And they buy those farmlands and they take it to the market because they buy those farmlands not to sell it to the Americans, but to send it back to China. So
Yeah.
that's a whole other international...
Yeah, another conversation for another day. But the only reason I ask you about that is because me personally, just my opinion, and we can disagree on this, is that in my opinion, there's too much overdevelopment, not enough green spaces in Miami-Dade, and I'm not very happy about that. It's too late right now in the game because it's already started, and there's not really much can be done. The Live Local Act, if I said it correctly, what is your opinion about that? I'm not a fan of that either.
I'm not a fan of the Live Local Act, and I've been vocal about the Live Local Act. While some of my developer friends like it, and I can understand why they like it, because sometimes local governments have over-regulations and over-regulated the market, so they can't build. I'll tell you this, we have to believe that. We believe that local governments, as good Republicans, the legislature, that they're up there right now, then we should believe in local governments and give the local governments the ability to decide. Right now, Live Local takes away a lot of the rights of our local, of the county and our municipalities on what they want in their backyard. Think about this. With Live Local, you potentially can have a building here in Hialeah that goes to the highest building, the highest number building could have, actually, Miami Beach is even easier, or Aventura in these areas is easier. If they have a high rise across the street that goes up to 100 stories, that could be now on the other side of the road, and that could be in a residential neighborhood. We have to be careful with that. And although I understand another bill that was well-intentioned that has gone a little astray, I would hope that our friends in Tallahassee start considering the positions of Live Local and really give the local zoning ordinances an opportunity to meet the spirit of the laws.
So my last question to you is, it's still early in the game because they'll be in 2026, but right now, who would you support in the Republican, obviously not Democrat, in the Republican primary, running for governor? By the way, I have a relationship with Byron Donalds. He's out of Naples. What is your, who are you going to endorse? Do you have anyone in mind?
You're not going to get me. You're not going to get me on that. Oh, come on, I've been around for a while.
Mr. Donalds is a nice guy.
No, listen, Congressman Donalds is an amazing human being. I've known him for some time when he was in the legislature in Florida, and I appreciate him. I appreciate the work that he's done. I think he'll be a great governor. But right now, I'm looking at I always wait for qualifying to come together.
Okay.
And then when
too early in the game.
Yeah, it's too early. It's still a year and a half away. But I want to make sure that it's a good Republican that we have at the helm.
Of course.
The party so we can continue the good work that we've done so far.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Senator, Commissioner of District 13, future mayoral candidate for City of Hialeah or Miami-Dade County, still young to prosper and grow into higher territory in the political arena or even private. Mr.Rene Garcia on the Alexander News Show. This is Alexander Carlos. Gracias por estar en el show de Alexander News Show.
Siempre un placer, gracias.
Thank you very much.
Hialeah in the house.
Hialeah, la ciudad que progresa. District 13, el distrito que progresa.
Así mismo, dale.